I don't know why, I was just like, yeah, maybe I should get a noodle put in my arm so I won't have babies. Hey guys, it's Raimi and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here to talk about my experience with nexplanon, or otherwise called the birth control implant. Because I wish that 3 years ago when I was looking all this stuff up that I came across something like this telling what actually happened, and hopefully this helps you. And if you are getting the if you are getting the birth control implant, I hope this gives you a little bit of insight on what could happen to you and, just, make you a little bit more familiar. Okay. So, let's start with what the birth control implant is. Mine is called nexplanon, and nexplanon is basically this little implant like this big, like the size of a matchstick, and it's like the thickness of like a spaghetti noodle. And it goes right here. This is the arm I got it on. It goes right here, and yeah. And it stays in for 3 years, and it's supposed to regulate your period, and it lets out hormones like constantly, or I don't really know. I'm not a scientist. But yeah, it's basically supposed to be like the pill, but you don't have to take a pill every day if you're like me and you're not good at like remembering stuff like that. I'm not really good at math, but I got this 3 years ago, so I don't really know what age I was. You guys are probably like,
oh, but that's basic math.
I know, but like, we all have our weak spots, okay? Okay. I got birth control in the first place because I had the worst periods in my freshman year. I would have it like, it seemed like every single day, like the heaviest flow. I always had to wear a pad. It sucked so bad. You know when you're in class and you're just sitting there and you're just bleeding and everybody else is just there living their lives and you're bleeding, but like every single day. So I told my mom about it and we went to the doctor, blah, blah, blah. So I got my birth control implant put in and it was super easy, like so easy. What they put it in with looked kind of like a stapler. It's kind of like, I'll see if I can find a picture so I can show you guys, but it looked like this, and then there's a metal tube, and inside the tube was my implant, and they just went, and it like went in there, and that was about it. They numbed it, of course. It didn't feel anything but pressure. Super easy. I didn't even cry, and then I went home, and I had some bruising for like 3 months on my arm, and then it healed up, and I forgot about it. And it was totally fine, like everything was normal. That part was easy. The whole 3 years was super simple. The only side effect that I got was I never got my period, ever. After I got it in, the first 3 months you have irregular periods, but after the 3-month mark, nothing. Like I was living my best life. Do you know what I mean? Like not having to bleed. The real tea started happening when it was time for me to get it out, which seemed like it happened so fast. Like 3 years happens way faster than you think. And I always had anxiety about getting it out because I just felt like it wasn't going to be a good experience, like in my heart. I don't know if you guys get that like weird gut feeling. It's like, I wish I had pictures of when it was in my arm, but I don't. I'll show you this. This is the arm that is healing right now. It looks so much better. I just have some bruising right here. And I'm gonna also insert like videos and pictures of what my arm looks like through the whole recovery process up until now. But it was right here and you could see it, just like a line. But on this side, it's like my implant was deep in my skin. So instead of being flat, it was at an angle. So one side was sticking out more than the other. They were just gonna take it out of the bottom, take it out and put it back in, right? But it didn't really work out that way. Okay, so let's talk about my first appointment to get it out. It's a lot. Okay, so the first problem is they numb the area. So you're awake for like the removal process and they numb the area. But I am allergic to iodine, and I know this because I had cancer and I've had to do surgeries before, and surgeries while I'm awake. And my last surgery was on my stomach, and they used iodine, and on top of my wound, or whatever you want to call it, I had like a huge rash, like itching, red, bumpy, like gross rash on my stomach. So we told them that, and they said that they would have to use lidocaine instead to numb the area. And if you don't know what that is a fat, I'm pretty sure I said it right, I think it's lidocaine. It is a fat needle that they have to like insert into your arm and like put the liquid in there so it numbs the area. And I was like,
they were like, seriously, like it's fine if you just do iodine, I'll deal with the rash, like it's fine, sis, like you can do it.
And they were like,
we're not gonna do that if we know that you're allergic. And I was like,
okay.
So I was sitting there and I felt the fat needle go into my arm and all the liquid go in and it burns. And but that was fine though, I wasn't crying yet. My mom was there and also my boyfriend Bruno was there with me. And so they did that and I'm just sitting there and I had so much anxiety because of, like I said, I had an awake surgery and I want to do a story time on that, but like it's kind of really like, it's very personal and I just want to do it when I'm ready and yeah. But that's besides the point. I had so much anxiety, like I was literally shaking and they needed me to stay still and I kept on like flexing my whole body. I was like tensing up because like I was just so nervous because I'm really traumatized from just scalpels and being awake for them cutting me. Yeah. But I was sitting there, you lay there on the bed like this. And it's in the gynecologist's office. It's not in like a hospital or anything. And they make the cut. It's right here. And it feels so much bigger when you're like not looking, because I didn't look at all. When you're like closing your eyes, I was sitting there like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I was trying to stay relaxed. And then they just force it out like a splinter. That's how they described it to me. And you can just feel, I don't know if it's just because I had the lidocaine and not the iodine, but you can feel them like tugging at your skin. You can feel the coldness of the scalpel. They say you can only feel pressure, but I feel like I felt everything, but just a little less bad, if that makes sense. And they were just, this woman was just like pushing and like trying to get it out, and there was my mom or my boyfriend, I can't forget who, said that they had these tongs and they were just grabbing it and just trying to like force it out. And I could feel that and I just started crying because it was hurting so bad, it was taking so long. And she was like, are you okay? Like, you shouldn't be feeling this. And I was like, girl, I feel it. I feel it. And they were so nice, like super good with me, because at this point, I was scream crying. And she was like sitting there and you can tell, you could feel the energy in the room. It was getting hot. People were like, because there was many women in there, like from the gynecologist's office, like trying to help. You can just feel that it wasn't going right. And my mom was holding my hand and my boyfriend was holding my hand. The woman that was doing my procedure, she was like, I've never not been able to get an implant out before like this. And I was like, what do you know? Like, of course, it's me. And just imagine, you're laying on that bed. There's like 3 people around you. Well, I don't know. There's a bunch of people around me, but I'm assuming there was like 2 or more people doing the actual procedure. And they're like, oh my god, like we need to get this out, like get me this, this, and this. And then you have your mom like,
what are you gonna do if you don't get a birth control implant? You wanna get pregnant, blah, blah, and then you're just sitting.
They're like, it hurts. So it was a lot. It was a lot. And then after like a while, they were like, honey, like we can't get it out. And I was just like, oh my god. They said that it was encapsulated. Remember that part where I told you guys it was crooked and there's one side that was deeper than the other? Well, they had to try to get it out of the deeper side, and that's why it wasn't really working out. That's what I think. And I was just so disappointed and like upset because I would have to come back in a week and do this again. And I was just like, my arm was purple, like my whole entire arm was purple. They wrapped it up, they put a steri strip. They didn't stitch it up, it was a steri strip, and I don't know if you guys know what that is, but they just like keeps the skin together. And they put gauze and then, you know, that whole thing. And I'm like trying not to be dramatic. It's hard for me to like, it's hard for me to tell if people can see where I'm coming from, because I've had surgeries before and they were really bad. And it's just a lot for me to like have any part of my body opened up while I'm awake again, because it's just so much anxiety that I have and an experience that I've had with that in the past. It's just like so much. But I don't know, I wonder if like if I didn't go through that, if like someone who didn't have surgeries like me before, this would have been like more okay. But at the same time, like it still hurt, it was still scary. Like I have an implant stuck in my arm now. So I went home, my boyfriend was with me, he's amazing, he took care of me, my mom took care of me, and for a couple of days, my arm was just like, I didn't want to move it didn't feel good, not good. And I'll see if I'm going to be inserting photos as I go and videos of what my arm looked like throughout the process. I can't remember if I do have a photo from the first surgery, but we'll see.
So I just took the gauze off after 24 hours, and this is what it looks like. My arm's kind of irritated from the gauze, but all that dried up blood is from the incision, and those are steri strips, I'm assuming keeping like the cut together. Sorry, I'm shaky, this is like weird. And up here where it's not irritated, it's really, really swollen. Usually you can see my birth control implant clearly through my skin, but it's really swollen so you can't see it, but it's there, and that part's really, really sensitive. But yeah, I just wanted you guys to see what it looked like after I took it off, the gauze off. So yeah.
Let's talk about the second visit. Since I was scream crying and I literally could not relax my muscles, I was all tensed up. It was so stressful the first time. Oh my god, my lash is itching. Since I couldn't relax my muscles and I was scream crying the first time, they prescribed me Xanax. So they gave me literally one in a pill bottle. And I had to take it an hour before my appointment. Because my best friend Brianna, she slept over with me and she was going to take me to the appointment actually because my mom had to work and she was going to meet us when she got out of work. So Brianna's amazing, she's super sweet for that. I took a Xanax and I was feeling so calm. Like I was feeling relaxed. I was just like, Actually, the surgeon that did my mom's C-section to remove my sister from my mother's body, that is the lady who was taking out my implant. And I was on a Xanax, I was laying there, I was chill, I was good. My mom was in the room at this point, and they did the iodine. I was like, that hurts, like the first time. And they made a cut and started getting it out. And this time, Brianna was like rubbing my leg and my mom was holding my hand, and I wasn't scream crying. I was relaxed, but I was terrified, and I was just like crying silently, like whenever it hurt really, really bad, because this time was like intense, even more intense. Like, I don't know how to explain it. The first time was really intense, but this time was intense in a different way. So the lady had the tongue things, and she was like, I could feel her pulling at my skin. And since it was encapsulated, side note, I thought they were gonna try to take it out from the top this time since that's where it was poking out, and I decided not to get another one implanted. But no, she went in through the bottom again. So I was like, they actually had to take the scalpel and cut my tissue from the inside of my body. Like, imagine holding over the tongs, like, they're trying to get the string out, not the string, the implant out, and they're cutting the skin off your tissue from the inside. Like, they're like trying to get it out of you. After a little while, they finally got it out, and it was so weird. They took it out, there was no blood on it, and I was like, what? There's blood inside my body. And actually, I forgot to tell you the tea. So everybody in this office was very nice to me. All the doctors did their best, amazing job. And the first lady who did my surgery the first time, she actually cut herself while she was doing it. So on my second visit, I had to get this removed and also get blood work done to make sure that nothing happened, you know, because when blood mingles with a different human, that's like not good. But thankfully, nothing happened, everything's good. So yeah, so then we leave. I'm in Brianna's car, her brand new 2018 Honda Accord, mind you, in her car, and I'm still on Xanax. The effects last for like 4 to 6 hours, I think I read. But at this point, like, I was still on it, and I was like, let's go to Starbucks, let's go to Steak and Shake. We're in the Starbucks drive-thru, and I'm sitting there, and I look at her. She has like white-ish, like tan leather interior. I look at her middle console, and there's just blood everywhere. And I look at her, and she looks at me, and we're like, oh my god. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, like, oh. And my arm's bleeding, and I'm like, what do we do? And I tell my mom, and I texted her, and they were like, she was like, go back to the place right now, like, whatever. And we go back, and it was bleeding so much, like, and it was just leaking. So they had to put a gauze, like, this thick. I don't know how to explain it. I think it was a gauze or like a cotton thing, I don't know. Right on it, and then wrap it like a million times in gauze. And I was just like, okay. Okay, so let's talk about the recovery. They told me to keep the gauze itself on for 24 hours. So the next day I took it off, and I still had the steri strip on, and there was just like blood and purple bruising. It was not doing well. And the steri strip the second time where I finally got it out, the steri strip did not do its job because I was bleeding so much that it wasn't able to adhere to my skin. So it was kind of just there, and I was just bleeding. Like, there's nothing to stop it, and my wound was just open. And that was really, like, annoying because I had to keep changing the Band-Aid, and any Band-Aid that I would put on it would leave a purple bruise in the shape of it, so that was really frustrating. This is the best that it's looked so far, and okay, so for some reason, my elbow's bruised, which is, I don't know, and it does hurt. This is getting better besides this, but here's the thing. Remember how I told you that they were like yanking off my tissue from the inside of me? Right here, right around this, it's like this square, it's rock hard. Like, I touch it and it just feels super hard. I think it's scar tissue. So it just feels so gross. Like, imagine that you had an eraser inside of your arm. Like, all of a sudden one day there's an eraser inside of your arm and it's just there. And when you're walking, it's kind of heavy, and you can kind of feel it move up and down whenever you do things. Like, that's the best way that I can explain it. And it's kind of really annoying, and I hope that it heals somehow, because right now I just feel it, and it's been like this for like a week now, and I'm just like, how will this go away? Like, I don't know, but I'm gonna keep massaging it, and I've been using Artica. It's like a topical cream to get rid of the bruising, but the place that I went to told me to take Artica the pills, and that is 5 pills 3 times a day. I tried that for 3 days, and I got so sick. Imagine taking 15 pills a day for your arm. Like, I couldn't do it. I thought I was gonna throw up. I felt so sick. I couldn't eat anything. And so if you have this and they tell you to take Artica, like, just be wary of that, because it really, really didn't make me feel good. And I don't feel good a lot of the times, but this, I was just like, I can't do. So now I'll put in the clips of what my arm actually looked like during the stages of recovery, and I'll kind of explain what you guys are looking at. But if you guys are like sensitive to like blood, bruises, leaking things in bodies, just like know that like the next few clips are not pretty. They're not like, I'm not trying to be dramatic, like they're not like the worst things ever, but like when I was showing my arm to some people before when it was really bad, they were like, oh my god.
I'm sorry about the audio, but I don't know if you can tell. It's literally still leaking, and it's the day after, and this didn't happen the first time, but it's just like wet blood and like pus looking stuff, and it's just really annoying. And then there's still that purple thing, but yeah, it looks so gross. Day 2 when we took the Band-Aid off. Why is it still bleeding?
So I've never done a story time video like this or really shared anything like personal, I guess, like this on my YouTube channel. So let me know if you guys liked it. But yeah, I love you guys so much and I'll see you next time. Bye!